Good morning, students of class 7. Today we will start chapter number 2 in science. Chapter number 4 in science, that is what is thermal energy and heat. Now, first of all, we will discuss about thermal energy. As we know that everything is made up of extremely small particles called molecules. For example, oxygen, water and iron are all made up of certain types of molecules. The molecules that form water, air and sand are different from each other, but they have one common feature, and that common feature is they all show movement. And thermal energy is dependent on that movement. Let us see what is thermal energy. According to this definition, the molecules of a substance move because they possess energy. The molecules of a substance move, they are in motion because of some energy, because they have some energy. The sum means addition. The sum of the energy possessed by all the moving molecules of the substance is called its thermal energy. The sum of the energy possessed by all the moving molecules of the substance is called its thermal energy. Next, we will move towards next heading, that is temperature. What is temperature? While thermal energy is the total energy possessed by a substance, temperature tells us. What temperature tells? Temperature tells us how hot or cold a substance is. That means it is used for the measurement of hotness or coldness of a body. Next our topic is, we use thermometer for measuring temperature. Temperature of a substance can be measured using a device, and that device is called thermometer. Next our heading is heat. Third one is heat. Heat is the thermal energy that flows. Heat transfer occurs from a region of higher temperature to a region of lower temperature. In short, we can write about heat. It is a form of thermal energy that flows, and heat transfer occurs from region of higher temperature to lower temperature. That means heat flow occurs due to the temperature difference. Okay, now, and the flow of thermal energy will continue until the temperatures of the two objects become equal. What is the standard international unit, SI unit for measuring heat? We can write the SI unit of heat, and the SI unit of heat is joule. And the other unit is also calorie, that is older metric unit. Calorie is the older metric unit for heat measurement. Okay, so remember it, the SI unit. SI means standard international unit of measuring heat is joule, and calorie is also the unit for but it is which type of unit? Metric unit. Okay. Now we will learn about the transmission of heat. How many ways the heat transfer occurs? Next heading is transmission of heat. There are different ways through which heat is transmitted from one point to another point, but we will study about three different modes of heat transfer, and the three different modes of heat transfer are as follows. First one is we will study about conduction. Second one is convection, and third one is radiation. Conduction, it generally occurs in solids. Convection in liquids. Now, first one is conduction. Conduction occurs when two objects at different temperatures are in contact with each other. For example, when a cold metal rod is placed in contact with a flame. Suppose we have a rod that is of metal, for example iron rod, and we placed this rod in the contact in touch of fire. Then what happens? Heat flows from the flame to the metal rod. The transference of heat from the flame to the metal rod, because flame is at higher temperature and metal is at lower temperature, and we have earlier discussed that heat always flows from a region of higher temperature to a region of lower temperature. Conduction is the mode of heat transfer in solids. It occurs in solid substances. When a warmer object comes in contact with a colder object, heat keeps flowing into the cooler object until both the objects reach the same temperature, and the transference of heat from the higher region to lower region will flow until the temperature of both the objects will be equal. For example, okay, next we will discuss about good and poor conductors of heat. Suppose you touch a metal and a wooden object on a winter morning. In the season of winter, if you touch a metal and a wood, then the metal feels colder. Why? What is the reason that the metal feels colder? Because in the same time. The reason is on a winter morning, both metal and wood have a lower temperature. Suppose you have metal means you can say iron and wood. If you touch both a metal rod or a wood, then the metal you will feel more cooler, because the temperature of both have a lower temperature than our body. So when you touch these objects, when you touch metal or when you touch wood, then the heat energy from your body flows into them, because our body is at higher temperature and these are at lower temperature as compared to our body, and when we touch metal or wood, the heat flows from us towards it, and the metal conducts heat energy much faster than the wood. The metal conducts, it takes the heat energy from our body much faster than the wood. Because why? That is because metals are good conductors of heat. Because metals are good conductors of heat. These are good conductors of heat. And wood is bad conductor of heat. Okay, so our next heading will be the second process, that is convection process. Second one is convection. Convection is the mode of heat transfer through fluids. It is mode of heat transfer through fluids. And fluid may be liquid or gases. Fluid may be liquid or gas. From a region of higher temperature to a region of lower temperature, same process, but the state will change. Convection process occurs in the fluids, and fluids may be liquids or gases. And from the region of higher temperature to a region of lower temperature, the heat transfer occurs by the movement of the fluid itself. In this condition, the fluid itself moves. Okay, now we will see about convection currents. What are convection currents? As we heat the fluid, liquid or gases, it expands because it got some energy and its kinetic energy increases. When we heat the liquid or gas, then its molecules get energy and their kinetic energy increases and they expand. As a result, it becomes lighter and moves upward, because we know that when liquid will be heated, then it becomes lighter and moves upward. The cooler and heavier fluid from the surroundings come to the place of the liquid that is heated. This process continues and gives rise to convection current, through which heat energy flows from the entire liquid or gas gets heated. Convection current gives rise to breeze in coastal regions. For example, sea breeze and land breeze. Convection current, the sea breeze and land breeze and land breeze. These are the examples which occur due to the convection currents at coastal areas, coastal regions. Next and third mode of heat transfer is radiation. Third mode of heat transfer is radiation. So that is radiation. Unlike conduction and convection, radiation is a method of heat transfer that does not need contact between a hotter object and a colder object. In radiation, there is no need of contact between two objects, two bodies. For example, you can feel a heat of the sun even when you are in your room, or you can feel the heat of a fire from a distance. So these are the examples of a radiation, because the heat energy that comes from the sun to the earth and we feel it is due to the radiation, because there is no contact between us and sun. So this is known as radiation. These waves can move through vacuum. Heat can be transferred through any empty space by radiation. Now we will discuss about next, that is vacuum or thermos flask. Vacuum or thermos flask. And a thermos flask is used to maintain the temperature of liquid kept in it. It keeps hot liquid hot or cold liquids cold for a longer time. The flask is made up of a double-walled glass vessel with vacuum. That means no air between the walls. Since glass is a poor conductor of heat, it reduces the transfer of heat from inside the flask as well as outside of it. Heat that would be transferred through radiation is reduced by silvering the walls of vacuum flask. We also silver the walls of vacuum flask so that we can stop the radiation. Now, this reflects the heat rays either trying to enter the flask from outside or leave the flask from inside. All of you can see the picture of this. A thermos flask that is consists of a glass. It is made of a glass and vacuum is created between the glass and silver coating is done to stop the process of radiation, and insulated stopper is also used. So in this process, we stop all the three modes of transfer of heat, that is conduction, convection and radiation. The silver surface reflects radiated heat. Vacuum prevents heat escaping through convection and conduction, and the insulated stopper, it reduces the conduction. So we reduce all the three modes, conduction, convection and radiation. Therefore, the thermos flask is used to keep the liquid kept inside it at hot or cold, whatever we want. Next heading is measuring temperature. How can we measure temperature? Measuring temperature. There are two scales, Fahrenheit or Celsius. Fahrenheit scale, and Celsius scale. Okay. What is about Fahrenheit scale? This temperature scale is named after the Gabriel Fahrenheit. This name is on the name of Gabriel Fahrenheit. And in which year he proposed it? In the year 1724. He set the freezing point of water at 32 degrees and boiling point of water at 212 degrees. Next one is Celsius scale. Who proposed it? Who invented it? Around 1743. That means 1743. Anders Celsius. Anders Celsius. Okay. CELSIUS. CELSIUS. Anders Celsius invented the Celsius scale. He determined the freezing point of water 0 degree and boiling temperature at 100 degrees. Okay. In this, freezing point was considered freezing temperature 0 degree and boiling temperature 100 degree. But in case of Fahrenheit scale, freezing temperature 32 degree and boiling temperature 212 degree. Next is clinical thermometer that is used for measuring our body temperature. Next, Fahrenheit scale, Celsius scale, and next one is clinical thermometer. Clinical thermometer. It will be very clear from the diagram. We will discuss about it. When you have fever, you may have used a clinical thermometer to measure your body temperature. The commonly used clinical thermometer is made up of a narrow tube, capillary of thick glass. At the end of the capillary tube is a thin glass bulb filled with mercury. Mercury is a metal in liquid form at room temperature. All of you can see the image of clinical thermometer, that is mercury in glass type. Here it is a clinical thermometer that we normally use when we suffer from fever. Here thin glass bulb with mercury is filled mercury is a metal that is in liquid state. Clear? So we used it here, and we know that normal body temperature is 37 degrees Celsius. That is mentioned here. Capillary tube, thick glass. This is the construction of mercury thermometer. Mercury is filled in it. The normal body temperature is 37 degrees Celsius. Next, that is after clinical thermometer, we will study about digital thermometer. Digital thermometer. As the name suggests, digital, that means on the thermometer we are able to see the reading in the form of digits. Clear? In the mercury thermometer we have to see digits very carefully. Okay, that is mentioned on that the glass, but in the digital thermometer all of you can see. All of you can see, use it for measuring the temperature, and digits are mentioned here. So its name is digital thermometer because digits are used in this. Nowadays digital thermometers are used to measure body temperature. They work on tiny dry cells. In this we use dry cells. A good quality of digital thermometer record body temperature more accurately than the ordinary mercury in glass thermometer. Moreover, it is a safer device because it does not contain mercury. This thermometer, clinical thermometer, contains what? Mercury. But this digital thermometer does not contain mercury, and mercury is a toxic substance. Mercury is toxic. Toxic means it is harmful for us, poisonous. So it is also good for this from this point of view. Next, laboratory thermometer that is used in the laboratory. A laboratory thermometer is made of a glass tube. It has a glass bulb with mercury, which on gaining heat rises in the glass capillary of the tube. How we read the laboratory thermometer? A laboratory thermometer does not have a constriction. It has to read while it is in the contact with the material whose temperature is being measured. It is the condition that in case of laboratory thermometer, the thermometer should be in contact with the material whose temperature we want to know. Okay, so these are clinical thermometer, digital thermometer and laboratory thermometer. Now we will discuss about cloths and seasons. What are the effects of cloths and seasons? Cloths and seasons. Black or dark colored surfaces. Black or dark colored surfaces absorb heat and warm up quickly, whereas white or light colored surfaces reflect heat and remain cool. That is why we must wear dark colored clothes in winter and light colored clothes in summer, because so clothes and seasons are somewhat relationship between them, because dark colored substances absorb more heat and light colored substances, light colored clothes reflect the heat. So we have to wear dark colored clothes in which season? Winter season, because in that season we want to keep our body warm. So in winter season we have to wear dark colored clothes, and in the summer season we have to wear light colored clothes, because light colored clothes reflect the amount of heat and then our body will remain cool. How does, next and last topic is, how does a woolen garment keep the body warm? Woolen. How does a woolen garment keep our body warm? Okay, woolen fiber, what it does? Woolen fiber curls and forms air pockets. The air trapped inside the woolen cloth, the air trapped, and this air is made warm by the heat of our body. This keeps the body warm. Moreover, wool is a poor conductor of heat. It does not allow the warmth of the body, the heat of the body to escape, and also prevents cold air from reaching the body. This is how woolen garments keep the body warm in winter. So, this is all about this chapter. Thank you, class.